Good afternoon. This is Consciously Promotions, and Consciously is interviewing the great. I know he doesn't like to be called a legend, but he is a legend in many circles, Mr. Mikey General, or I should say just Mikey General. That is your
blessed love.
name.
Consciously, the great Consciously. I've seen
Well,
you've been doing a lot of work, I love that.
Thank you. I think one of the, by way of introduction, one of the best, for me, one of the best things I've seen written about you is from reggaeville.com. It says, one of reggae's most exciting talents in conscious vocals is that of Mikey General. His high tenor voice, like a warm breeze over the ocean, carries a message of faith and optimism. I think that was really well put, very beautiful, very
Thank
beautiful.
you very much. Thank you very much. And I try to be that type of person to bring optimism and knowledge to the world.
Yeah, that's what you're known for. In all that I've researched about you, everybody talks about your faith and the way that you approach music and your message through your music. So let us go way back to when you were born, where you were born. In fact, where are you right now?
I'm in Kingston, Jamaica right now.
Okay. What's the temperature over there? I'm jealous now.
It's about 34 degrees Celsius or something like that.
Wow. Oh gosh, it's getting colder and colder here, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
November time, going towards Christmas. So let's go back to your beginning. Where were you actually born?
I was actually born in Arsden, Princess, Middlesex Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was born in Arsden. I lived there till I was 2 years old. Then my parents decided to come back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And all that was because of a man they called Enoch Powell, who used to talk about the rivers of blood.
Mm.
So my parents didn't like that kind of reasoning, so they decided to come home. Plus they left my sister and two older brothers here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So they came home to have us as a family,
Yeah. That I remember. I mean, I read about it, but I remember about Enoch Powell. I think your parents should be commended that they actually took action, because a lot of people, they didn't like what was said, but they stayed. But your parents decided to do something about it.
I really have to admire the people who stayed, because really and truly, for me, I'm glad that they took me back to Jamaica, but the people who stayed made it better for us who live in England now are going there. Without them, if they didn't stay, if they didn't fight it, we probably wouldn't be able to go into England now. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
They did their job. They stood there, they fought, and things. So my parents, I think one of the reasons why they came home too was he was preaching that, but also they knew that they left two behind. They left three children behind too. So so it was more easier to come home with us and thing,
So there's two ways of there's two sides of the coin, so to speak.
Two sides of the coin and thing, and I really, as I say, I would really honor those who fought, who stayed against them, because they fought against Teddy Boys, skinheads, and all those people that we, as the younger generation, could walk on the street in England. Because one time, those guys, punk rockers, Teddy Boys, and they would run them. My father told me that, some Teddy Boy, if I run him down one time, I escape. So,
Wow.
you know what I mean? So it was a two-edged sword, really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your biography said that you grew up in church. You started singing in church. Is that right?
Yes, I started singing first in church. There's a church called Marvel Gospel Hall. That where I was first introduced to the choir, and also my school choir.
Okay.
I used to go to a school called St. Richard's Primary.
Right.
And they had a school choir, and I used to sing on it as well.
Okay.
From a very young age. Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to ask you, did you actually get baptized, or did you?
But I got baptized much later in life. into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't get baptized then.
Yeah, in those days I was just singing because I loved it and thing, you know.
Yeah. So when did you leave school, or when did you start to branch out from church?
Well, about 14, 15 years old, you know. I was in the church and growing up, encountering Rastaman and people and getting more knowledge of myself and reading the Bible, and I seen that the concept of God that we were taught was not of our God. It was taught of our European God and how we should praise Him, and it kind of gave us like they used to talk about the curse of Ham and all that stuff, so they wanted to say that I and I are accursed people, and I didn't accept that message. Right. You know what I mean? So it took me out of the church. I didn't want to go to that. I didn't want to encounter anything that would make me feel less than myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I gradually, from about 12, 13, 14, I started to drift away from the church, you know what I mean? Yeah. And started to, it's not that I forget God, because my mother is a very godly woman. She prayed all the while, every day, but it's just that I didn't go to church anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's later on in life when I hook up with Rastafari people and learn the truth about Christianity and know that Israel was really Northeast Africa and all that, and learning the true inhabitants of Israel were people of color like myself, like me and you understand, and that they whitewash the image of Christ and all that stuff, and so it's when I grew older I learned these things, you know what I mean, and so it brought me back by going to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Now it brought me back into believing in Jesus Christus and believing in God and in believing in the faith. And all that came through His Imperial Majesty too, Haile Selassie. Yeah. Because when you follow His Majesty and you become Rastafari and you start to follow the teachings and the life of His Majesty, it automatically leads you into the Orthodox Church. Okay. Yeah.
So what was your first record?
My first record was a song called Roots Me Roots. Roots me roots, roots me roots, roots me roots in a me khaki suit, I mean I use panta boots. Yeah. I was 16 years old at the time, still attending school, St. George's College. Yeah. And I remember well the day when I had to jump the school fence in order to go to studio. The studio was Channel 1 studio on Maxwell Avenue. Yeah. And the band was Soul Syndicate band, and they played the rhythm and thing, and the producer was Roddy Silence. He had a sound system, and I used to sing on his sound system, and he heard me singing on the sound system, and he decided to record me. So that was my first recording when I was about 16 years old. Yeah, 1980.
Whoa. Yeah, 1980 I left school, so I think we're around the same age. We're around
yes.
So what happens after that? Because that.
Well, after that, I left school too as well, and I started to. I got a job with Sight and Service, a government agency. Yeah. And worked for a while, but I was singing on sound systems in the community when they would pass through, like Virgo, Gemini, those big sound systems, and in the community we had some little small sounds like Zion, Chalice, Macatone. So I would sing on those sound system regular. So I was still owning my craft, but I was doing a 9 to 5. Then in 1992, I decided my parents sent me back to England. Okay. And I worked, stayed in England for 10 years on and off. But I lived there for 10 years. In that, I would stay 3 years there, come back to Jamaica, spend 6 months. Then I go again, spend like 2 years, and then, I would regularly come back to Jamaica and thing. But while in England, I was working at this wine factory. Remember, I was telling you about this wine factory that I was working.
Yeah.
in South Wimbledon. Yeah. So I was working at this wine factory, and the guy there told me that Mikey, you're gonna be here for 25 years. That I'd just been there for 6 months.
Lord.
Now there was this other black guy named Trevor who used to work there, so everybody was saying I was gonna be like Trevor. And when he said that to me, he said to me that you're gonna be here for the next 25 years. And I look at Trevor and I look at myself and I said, no, that's not me. So I as I said, I took what you call it, sick leave, and vacation leave, notice pay, everything, and I left.
Right.
Yeah, and I started to sing more on Coxsone sound system called Gappy Tread. He introduced me to Coxsone sound system, and I would sing on Coxsone sound system, and got a job after a while because Coxsone we never really get no money from Coxsone and thing. It's when I really singing on Saxon. That's when I started getting paid.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And when I started singing on Saxon, then I decided, well, this is what I'm gonna do, because I remember the first time I went with Saxon and sang on their song. You know, Muscle, when I finished, he gave me like £150 and something like that. And I said, wow, £150, I have to work 1 week to get £150.
Wow.
So in those days, you know, so I said, no, sir. Well, me done with that. Me sticking at the music, so that's where I really started to focus on the music, doing more recordings and things.
Yeah.
You know.
You're known for your close partnership with Luciano, but I know that there's a bit of history leading up to that. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Well, I met Fatis Burrell, who was Luciano's producer, Exterminator, in 1984 in England.
Yeah.
Black Dread introduced me to him, and you know, I recorded some songs with him. One at Brent Black Music place in Willesden.
Yeah.
And I recorded. Aswad was the band at the time we recorded the rhythms too.
Yeah.
So it was like my first experience with in England with the great band Aswad, and I'm meeting at that time Nitty Gritty was there too, the singer Nitty Gritty.
Yeah.
So you know we would hook up with Fatis, and you know he would take us around to Europe and those places.
Yeah.
So after a while, Fatis went back to Jamaica. I'm been in England, and when I came to Jamaica, I hooked up with Sugar Minot and Youthman Promotion Sound System, and working with Youthman Promotion Sound System, I hook up with Fatis again.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a long history. Fatis had a label called Exterminator. I had a label before Exterminate called Vina, and I would record on him. So, but I met Luciana after living in England for, as I said, on and off for 10 years.
Yeah.
And 1992, I decided to come back home to Jamaica. And I met Luciana at Castro Brown Studio.
Right.
I don't know if you have heard of Castro Brown.
He's
Castro Brown is a elder. He was a great man. He helped a lot to establish reggae music in England too.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was a promoter, producer. He was at one time a manager for Dennis Brown.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. So he had a studio in Jamaica called New Name, because he had just left England and opened a studio in Jamaica called New Name Studio. And that's where I met Luciana in 1992. Luciana, very humble youth, but he looked like a police officer, because his shirt was always in his pants, and you know, he looked like, if you would see him, you thought he would be a detective.
Yeah.
But he was always joyful, always laughing and thing, and you know, had a good and positive energy. So I started to hook up with him. So the affiliation with Luciana started from 1992, and you know, we hook up with Exterminator. And you know, Exterminator became that great label that produced Sizzla, myself, Luciana. There was Ragnar Pizer, Jesse Gender, Shadow Man. But also after us came Luton Fire, Turbulence, Chesedek, and many more. You singing Cologne, many more great artists. You know, so the Exterminator label, they did a lot for us in the early days, in the early 90s and so.
So are you still doing any works with Luciano now?
Yes, man. We have a new song that's gonna come out early next year called Redemption. You know,
Oh, that's great.
it's a combination, me and him, and I see him almost every day. You know, he's a good friend of mine, a real brother. Very supportive in anything that I'm doing, and I try to be supportive with him too. You know, it's just that we have two different careers. Once my career was more tied to Luciana, but now I'm more individual doing my own stuff and things. But the connection as a brother is still there.
Yeah.
It's not Nicotine, it's not Barrington, cause I'm Mikey to roll at the microphone stand. The Luciana is my right hand. Together we are the toughest combination. So Syria, let's go with favor. Syria, tell me who will favor. Syria, tell me who will favor. Syria, them up and know what we look like. Them up and know what we favor. I am the singer with the flavor. Luciana is the singer with the flavor. Hey, oh, hey.
how much has your spirituality influenced your music?
It is everything to my music.
Yeah.
Because as you rightly read that I come to uplift and enlighten the people. So the message must be one of upliftment, one of positivity, one of spirituality. Because without God, there's no spirituality. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. I agree with that. That is, I mean, that comes through in your music and your voice. Yeah, definitely. So we come on now to the one that I helped to promote, Black Experience. I have to say your vocals are very much on point. You know, you're still, you can still reach the notes, you can still, you know, sing so well. How did that come about? How did Black Experience come about?
Well, Empress, if I tell you how old that album is, you wouldn't believe.
I wouldn't, because it sounds fresh.
Exactly. That album is 12 years old.
No.
Yes, it was recorded in 2008 in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah, it was recorded for 2008 in Atlanta for Footprints Music Group.
Yeah.
But he also recorded an album with Luciana, an album called Write My Name.
Yeah.
Which was a good album, but it didn't get that maximum promotion because he's not really a music man.
Yeah.
You know, he loves music, but he's not. He's a biochemist.
Yeah.
So he's more in focus on his work, but he loves music and things. So what he did, he took his time and he got overdubs and then mixed it over and all that type. So even though it was the old songs, the lyrics were potent, they were fresh, they were new, because nobody didn't hear it, even, you know, so he was able to update it by in an overdubs, and he dropped it, and I think he dropped it at the right time because we were at a crucial junction in the world at the time when he dropped the album. Yes.
Yeah, we African people have come from very far. We've been through a lot, but we stood the test of time to shine. Yes, we're proud of who we are. Yeah. The Black Experience. We come from very far. So much ingredients make us who we are. The Black Experience. We come from very far. So much ingredients make us who we are. I wonder what some people would do if they were walking in the black man's shoe and face the trouble we face and the pain that we've been through. I wonder if they could bear all these struggles from year to year and still not treat it fair. Still we push on. It's the Black Experience. We come from very far. So much ingredients make us who we are. The Black Experience. We come from very far. So much ingredients make us who we are. We went through the middle passage. Some died, so many damage, but somehow we still managed to make it against the odds. Slavery was the pangs of hell. They beat us till our bodies swell. There's so much affliction, more than tongue can tell. The Black Experience. We come from very far. So much ingredients.
Yes, you know.
So it's an album. So are there any more songs coming off that album that we can look forward to?
Yes, there are many more songs. There's a song called Philip only gave you the Black Experience. Philip Gadd. Yeah. But there are other songs that were released off. There's another song called Until. There's a song called We the People. You know, it's the album is called We the People as well.
Yeah.
So it's an uplifting album, an
Yeah.
album to strengthen you, to give you
Yeah.
faith and courage.
And it is
That's the
called.
whole mission.
No, I say it's called "We the People," isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I like the title, "We the People." It's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can send a link, send the link for the whole album to you.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
gonna send it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can
Lovely.
hear it for yourself and evaluate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do a review of it. I'll write a
Yes,
review.
I would love you to do a review
Really?
of it. Yes, I
Okay.
would
I'll
be
do a
honored.
review. Okay.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
you? One more question. How did you get the name Mikey General?
Yes, as I got that name from Gappy Dread.
Oh.
You know, I used to play when I was in Jamaica. I used to play football a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the name General from football. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember I was in Battersea on a sound system named BMW, and that's where I met Gappy Dread.
Yeah.
They call him Gappy Crucial now.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, he said to me that, boy, Mikey, I wanted to come with me and go to People's Club, which is in Paddington.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would jump on the number 2 bus from Battersea to Paddington. And you know, on the busway, he said he was talking to me and said, what's your name? I'm say, boy, them call me General, and so I said, too much General, man. Why you not call yourself another name? So I said, no, sir, I don't want no other names. Because I say, I have that name from my little boy. So the man said, all right. What's your first name? I say, Mikey. And he say, all right, we'll call you Mikey General. So Gappy Dread gave me that name, Mikey General. He put the 2 names together.
And how long have you had that name? How long have you been Mikey General?
Well, from my first recording, Mikey General, 1983, I think. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a long. Yeah, so you were still young at the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about your social media handles. They call them social media handles. So I know that you're on Facebook. So what's your name on Facebook?
Michael Taylor, bracket original Mikey General.
Okay.
And then there's a fan page which is Mikey General.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on Twitter, Mikey General 7.
Yeah.
On Instagram, Mikey General 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah. So when is the next single coming out? When can
I always have new singles coming out, but there's one coming out soon with a juggling with Luciano and Pinchers, Half Pint, and some more other artists.
Oh, wow.
That's coming out still. Yeah, but I'm still working on this album, still promoting it because it's still fresh.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm still trying to get some songs off it as well. So
I can't believe it's 12 years old. It sounds fresh.
I want you to hear the album. And I need you to give me a review.
I will promise. Okay. I promise I'll give you a review. I promise.
Yes.
Mikey General, it's been really lovely talking to you. I'm jealous of you. It looks nice and bright over there.
Oh, it's nice. A nice weather.
But I know that we'll be in contact more than once. So
yes.
I'm glad that you spared the time to speak to me. And I'm hoping everybody enjoyed the interview as much as I did. Thank you very much.
Yes, Consciously, and thank you very much for having me on your program. I've been watching and reviewing you, and I see you've been doing some great works.
Oh, thank you.
Some great artists, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So keep up the great work, yeah?
Thank you. Thank you for your endorsement. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah. So look out for that. I'm going to send a WeTransfer for that album for you, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank
you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bless you. Bye.
Bye.